The Greater Bangalore Authority as a concept is definitely a positive. You need an integrating, coordinating agency to take care of planning and mobility. Second, smaller municipal corporations are not a bad idea. It could take governance closer to the people.
Yeah.
So these are potentially good things. And we have a politically empowered leader for the first time, who pretty much could be thought of as the de facto mayor of Bangalore, albeit not elected by Bangaloreans, right? Who is the Minister for Bangalore Development.
Since you spoke of the mayor, now we'll have multiple mayors and deputy mayors.
Yeah, but you still have a coordinating. It's not a bad thing. It can still be managed. It basically follows the London model, though the law is poorly drafted. But the big opportunity and the question I have for Rizwan, I think we need governments that listen. We need a GBA that listens to people. Bangalore has some of India's or even the world's best philanthropic, non-profit, subject matter expert organizations. They were not consulted as widely as we would have liked when the law was drafted. But let bygones be bygone. Going forward, since we are in it all together,
it's come into effect already.
can we make sure that we have a listening GBA that ensures that despite the drawbacks in the law, in implementation, we can all work together for the brand Bangalore that all of us collectively aspire.
I think the government...
Will we get a listening GBA? That's my question.
You wouldn't get no for an answer for sure, but I'd like you to elaborate.
I know Janagra is an organization which has widely done a lot of good work. We all have. I mean, I would like to. I don't want to contradict him. In his view, it might be a poor law, but I would like to say that in this law, what we have tried to do is we have kept opportunity for society's participation in the governance, not only through the elections, through democracy where people get elected. We have created opportunities for domain experts and organizations who has expertise in various fields to come on board and work with the city administration. So if you go through Vishnath, you can find it. Maybe it is a little bit inside. So
no, but I should correct you. He never said it's a poor law. He says usually good laws are not implemented right. So which is why reassurance from you. He wants a reassurance.
No, in a lighter vein, I said. But I would like to say that this law has catered to all those challenges, because the challenge today is how do we integrate expertise? How do we take people on board who has good intentions and good expertise to offer? Right? Because government is quite restricted in its approach. Unless we open it and make people come on board, we won't be able to deliver the kind of results we need to deliver. So we have created a situation, a platform there where we can bring on board organizations and individuals from various different domains across the world, even if need be. To come on board and help us in cities. This is the first time which has...
You have more foot soldiers, you have more people on the ground to get the pulse on what's happening in their respective areas.
Absolutely. No, one is the decentralization, as Vishnath said. But if, for example, an organization which has expertise in urban planning, which needs to come on board, there has to be some kind of way we get them on board, right? If some organization has expertise in traffic management, they would like to come and suggest us. We take them as advisors. Today's law does not give those opportunities, where everything is termed as, okay, you come through this, which becomes very difficult to onboard people with a lot of technology and expertise to help us. So now in this law, we have given that opportunity. We have even named various domains which we would like experts to come and organizations to come and help.
That's a great step forward. But as a commoner, Bengalurian myself, the one thing I'd like to ask is whether roads will have a good structure finally going forward. We have our News 9 bus here, and I should show you the size of that bus, and I should tell our viewers that it was, as it is difficult to get to areas of Cubbon Park, roads aren't the best in Bengaluru, and there's been complaints constantly that one bout of rain exposes our civic infrastructure. So do you believe our News 9 bus will be able to travel peacefully across roads of Bengaluru in the days forward?
Absolutely, yes. Even today it can travel.
No, it's bad.
But the benchmark which we have to set for Bangalore city, today's situation is like any other city in the country. But the benchmark for Bangalore cannot be in any other city in the country. That is what we are an international
city. But
city.
it's too small, and there's a huge population. I mean, that's something that you can't...
See, the big challenge is when BBMP Act was implemented in 2007 or 8, Bangalore's population was 70 lakhs. Today it's 1.5 crore in 18 years.
Which makes it all the more difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we need to decentralize it so that the power is decentralized and reaches near the people.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to bring in T.S. Raghunandan, T.R. Raghunandan, who's a retired IAS officer, to give us your concerns, sir, on what this bill is about.
Thank you. I used to be the Rural Development Secretary, so I was involved in the rural decentralization side. So I had a few concerns about it. Like Srikanth, I would agree that, in my opinion, breaking up or allowing the scope to break up Bangalore into smaller corporations is a good idea. In fact, cities like Brussels or Manila have done that, and they are run pretty well. It creates a sense of competition and so on and so forth, and it allows for deconcentration of power at that level. But I had two concerns. The first concern was that when you create a new structure, when you create a structure like the GBA, which is meant for overall coordination, etc., then you have to take a look at the role and relevance of existing structures which are now across jurisdictions. And I didn't find, for example, the BMRDA, the BDA, and also the 17 other planning authorities which have been created all around. Now, what is going to be the role and relevance of those institutions? Right now, the GBA has made all of them as ex officio members. But my advice, my suggestion to you is some bit of institutional cropping and institutional euthanasia has to be there so that the number of institutions dealing with the problems is not too many. Otherwise, they'll all keep stumbling over.
That's what you call red tapeism, right?
Mr. Raghunandan has raised a very valid concern. So we have taken care of that. What we have done is we have defined the GB area, and we have made sure in the Act that no other authority, whether it is BDA or BMRDA, has overlapping powers in the present GB area. Right now what is happening is BBMP area has the intervention of BDA 2. So now today some kind of a planning approval has to go. It has to go through BBMP, then go to BDA. The people have to go multiple organizations to get their work done. So we have made sure that the GBA area, everything will be decided in the GBA itself and the city corporations. So we are now, we have defined the GBA area, now we will redefine the BDA area. And beyond the BDA area will be a BMRDA area. So the areas will not be overlapped. So the first step of the government was to define the GBA area, which from today it has come in effect. Now we will define the BDA area beyond GBA. And beyond BDA would be BMRDA. So those things we have clearly
You outlined
it in this particular act.
Right. Our civic expert.
My suggestion is actually you could subsume the capacities of the BMRDA and the BDA into the GBA so that you can economize on staff and create more efficiencies. My second point is that under, I think, Section 9, you have defined, Section 14, you have defined, you have mentioned the Metropolitan Planning Committee, which is a constitutional authority. I wish actually that the GBA became the operational side of the Metropolitan Planning Authority, because right now it's just hanging in the air. One advantage of bringing the MPC into the picture is that the MPC formally allows for engagement of central government organizations in the city's planning. And three of the biggest landowners in the city, which is the army, the railways and the airport authority, are central government organizations. So if that suggestion is taken, I think it will make it a more logical structure.
Absolutely, this has also been addressed here. Now what we have done is MPC is mandated to be the planning, draft planning authority by the 74th Amendment. So MPC is there, and MPC doesn't have the secretariat to operate it, as you said. So the GBA will act as a secretariat to the MPC in this act. So that we have an MPC which can engage with the central government agencies like Army and Railway and all that huge organizations, and the GBA can act as a secretariat to MPC to create the planning authority. So this has been taken care of.
Okay, excellent. Before I get to Katyayani, since I'm on this side already, Sir Satya Arikutaram, who's your mobility expert, what would be your mobility issue here?
Thank you, Rizwan, for actually giving this opportunity to ask questions on the day wherein GBA has become an act. Today is an act, and I'm sorry, Bengaluru will actually lose out on public transportation inadvertently because Greater Bengaluru Authority Act does not recognize the role of BMLTA in the right perspective. It is actually impinging on integrated transport. A while ago you said it's decentralized and integrated. In transportation, the terms are integrated and sustainable. Today, I ask a simple question. Is BMLTA dead? If not, when will it be established? Second question, will GBA seek approval for all its major infrastructure projects under BMLTA Act Section 19? That's it.
All right.
What is the second question?
Will GBA take Section 19 approval from BMLTA for all its major infrastructure project schemes, including the tunnel road?
See, you know that BMLTA Act is already it's passed. It's not yet established. We were in a transition period where we wanted to bring in a proper structure to the city's administration by getting a new act. So once this is done, we have to take BMLTA into it. So right now, what we have made is BMLTA also to be part of the platform of the GBA, right? No, I understand your, I understand your concern. Now the point is, how do we? Because see, the city's planning cannot be, city's administration cannot be done ignoring the transport thing. Fine, but at the same time, there are many other aspects of city's administration which needs to be properly placed and done. So what we have done is we have taken care of all that. Transport is one big element which we need to take care of it. And any law at every given time, any given time can always be amended to make it more integrated. So we have on record in the Assembly, our Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. D.K. Shivakumar, and the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, including me, we have been on record on the Assembly that we will not be rigid. We will anytime amend this act to make it more integrated and inclusive. So our job at hand was to set up this whole thing, which we have set up. And since BMLT Act is also passed, which is not come into effect, how does that implicate this? All needs to be worked out now. And we will definitely work out. And now that is the reason we have connected BMLTA and GBA, because the DULT is the part of now the GBA executive committee, so that we cannot function leaving them aside. So in coming days, we will integrate this. We will make it much robust. The act needs to be in letter and spirit be implemented. And how does it affect the GBA's functioning, or how do we make it more, what do you say, integrated and coordinated? We will definitely work out on.
No, thanks a lot for the clarification. I think I had the opportunity to participate in the public feedback too. BMLT's role was to integrate the activities of buses, metros, and the suburban rail. By making all these three members separate members of GBA, aren't we diluting the integration function of BMLT? And that was the concern which you acknowledged, but unfortunately, as you say, perhaps time was of the essence, it was pushed through. And I'm glad you agreed. Law is a living document and you're open to amendments. My first amendment suggestion is, please make sure, establish BMLTA. It's been languishing for 22 years, sir. 22 years. And now is the time. And I'll tell the implications of not establishing BMLTA. We will lose phase 3, phase 3A metro, funding from multilateral agency, because these are all covenants which we have agreed through MOUs and loan documents. Please do not dilute the function of BMLTA.
Okay. So
the urgent need when we are creating an act was, today it is different parastatal agencies, right? Today metro is different. Other agencies, transport agencies are different. When we create an act, right now, until that act comes into effect and everything gets integrated, we have to take them as in different agencies on board. So today's, their existence as per the law is that. So we have taken it. But in coming days, we'll definitely, our goal should be towards integrating the whole transport as a functional platform and integrate that with GB.
right. Katyayani, would you want to jump in? I'll finish. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you, sir. I'll come back to you. Katyayani, please go on. You're a civic expert. What's the concern you have?
Well, you know, the whole idea of the 74th Constitutional Amendment in 1992 was to give power to the people of the local government and to make the local government a self-government, a local self-government. Now, did BBMP really fail, or did the state government fail to implement 74th Amendment effectively all these 32 years? Is that the reason why Bangalore is suffering now from flooding and traffic congestion? That is a question I'd like to ask. Now, according to me, over the last 32 years, they have never really empowered the proper implementation of the 74th Amendment. Elections were never held to the local government in time. Now, even today, we don't have a local elected council, which is the first requirement, to have a local self-government. They have completely evaded that responsibility, and it is an unconstitutional act. And they were supposed to constitute the Metropolitan Planning Committee to plan for Bengaluru in an integrated way, which they say now the GBA is going to do. But why didn't you empower the Metropolitan Planning Committee for 20 years after the 74th Amendment? Because only after a court order did you constitute the MPC. So the 20 years there was no proper planning body for Bengaluru.
So successive governments from history, we're looking at successive governments failing to actually push for the BBMP to act. The powers that the BBMP had weren't really implemented on the ground. There was or no political interference. I don't know what went wrong there.
If we really talk about history, the 74th Amendment was done 32 years back, as Kathyani rightly said. But for 20 years, the rules were not framed. It was not come into effect. Okay, Karnataka is one of the few states which tried to implement that. Maybe
I'm sorry, sir,
that's right. I mean, I'm not talking about BBMP came in through which act. I'm talking about the 74th Amendment. It was done 32 years back. But how many governments took it upon themselves to implement it, right? Karnataka was one government which came forward to take that seriously and implement it, right? And second, as she has a concern about the 74th Amendment, I would like to tell her very clearly, if she goes through the act, every corporation we create, maybe it is 2 or 3 or whatever numbers we all agree to, they're all autonomous corporations. And they are, according to the 74th Amendment, empowered corporations. Right? There is no way that their power has been usurped or diluted. So they are fully autonomous, empowered corporations within the city. So they have their own council, they will take their own decisions, they will collect their own taxes, they will spend their taxes according to the decisions made in their council. So we have empowered the corporations, kept it empowered, yet coordinated. And we have kept in mind that 74th Amendment. Right now what is happening is 74th Amendment is not being implemented in letter and spirit across the country. Right? I'm also the chairman of the Legislative Committee for Panchayat Raj and local bodies. And we have recommended now that the urban development authorities in the districts, they create the master plan right now. The local corporations, whether if you take Mysore or Belgaum or Dharwad, the corporations don't create master plan. It is the urban local development authority. The reason being corporation area is limited, the jurisdiction of, the district is much higher, so the planning is done at the district level. But after the planning is done, the master plan is done, they don't even hand over the part of the corporation area back to the corporation. Still they keep that themselves, right? So we are trying to address those issues also through GBA, that the corporations, once the master plan is created by the MPC, right, the corporation should get full authority to implement those master plan in their jurisdiction. So all those things we have kept in mind. We are 2 steps ahead than the regular practice what's happening across the country. So those things have also we have taken care. And it can in coming days, we need to work more to implement the 74th Amendment, make it much stronger. And I'm sure GBA is 2 steps ahead. We'll take 1 more step ahead in coming days on this.
All right. You want to say something?
Yes. The solution is not to centralize the power again with the state government. What you need to do is decentralize more. But I disagree when he says that the municipal corporations which are going to come now, 5 or 7, they are going to be empowered. Now, in the GBA...
Not empowered. They are already autonomous. According to the 74th Amendment, I don't know what doubt you have. You have to, if you go and read the Act, it is very clear all the functions and all the powers of the city corporation, what today BBMP holds, will every multiple corporation, whatever we create, will hold. Exact all the powers of the BBMP will be held by the independent corporations.
And that, let me introduce Narasimhan, who's the founder of Bengaluru Navnirman Party. He has a bunch of suggestions to also give.
Yeah, thank you, Nabila, for having me over, and thank you, Mr. Rizwan, for kindly accepting our suggestions. Today, landmark day when the new bill is being passed and converted into an act. So, with regard to the empowerment point, there were two main things that I wanted to give as suggestions, which are also concerns. Right now, the mayor of each of the corporations, they are not empowered. Why do I say that? The chief commissioner of each corporation does not report to the mayor. It's a very confused topic that's out there. Nobody knows who the chief commissioner reports to. Let the mayor have the power to appoint the chief commissioner. Let the mayor have the power for the chief commissioner to report into the mayor. Let the mayor for each corporation be held responsible and accountable for that corporation's development or otherwise. Just like the CM has the power for the state, just like the PM has the power for the country, let the mayor have the power over the jurisdiction of that corporation. Simple thing, 5-year term for the mayor, the chief commissioner of each corporation to report into the mayor. That's one fundamental change that we would need. Second, we talked about flooding, potholes, and all the civic issues that we face. The way to decentralize is not just by splitting up. Citizen participation is very important. Citizens know in their respective areas what problems they are facing. In some areas, drains could be the problem. Some areas, roads could be the problem. Sitting centrally here, we can't decide what's good for people. There was a beautiful concept of area sabhas that existed in the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act, that existed in the BBMP Act as well, that was there in the original draft of the GBGB as well. But for some reason, it's been removed from the final draft. Our humble submission is, please do not deny citizens the platform and the power to take part in local governance. That's a very, very important concept. It was not implemented, it's not been implemented, but I think we should not deny that power to the citizens. The last suggestion I have with regard to the BBMP elections, the city has been suffering a lot. Not just this city, many cities in this country have been suffering for the lack of municipal elections to be held on time. One simple clause in the act which says that if at the end of the tenure of a municipal corporation, a new delimitation or a reservation has not been notified, let the State Election Commission be authorized to conduct the election as per the previously available delimitation and reservation. This will ensure that in the future, no election to any municipal corporation or a panchayat will get delayed in the state. As you rightly said, Karnataka has been the pioneer, Bengaluru has been the pioneer in quite a few things. Yeah. I would request that please incorporate these points, please make it a pioneering act for the benefit of the city, for the benefit of the citizens, right, for the benefit of all of us. Thank you.
He has made 3 points. Yeah. One is the mayor should be all powerful, yeah, and the corporation. Even today it is held accountable. Yeah. Today, what is the situation?
In the act, it is 3 years term, but he wants a 5-year.
Today's situation is we had a 11-month mayor. When he gets into the position and gets out of the position, almost 11 months are over. Yeah. So what we have done is we have done a 2.5-year term for the mayor, yeah, right? And the composition of the council is such that the mayor and the corporation commissioner are answerable to the council, right? So that is the system. Here, even if the chief minister is very powerful, he has to take decisions through the cabinet. Even the prime minister is very powerful, he has to take decisions through the cabinet. So the mayor, in consultation with the council, has to take decisions. That's right, a balanced system, right? We have given extra tenure to the mayor so that he stabilizes and makes his own plan and execute it. The other thing what he had said, that very valid point, the Bangalore is spread across so huge that one part of the city has different set of problems than the other part of the city. Right now, what is happening with one BBMP and one council, no part of the city is getting any highlight, any importance, and there is no conclusion to anybody's problem which is being discussed there, right? So if you have different corporations, if the East Bangalore has different issues, and you have, for example, East Bangalore Corporation, the council there will discuss the issues of Eastern Bangalore. And the decision of the council will be implemented in the corporation because they are empowered corporations, right? Yeah. And that is the reason we have decentralized it. the answer to the third concern he had was, it was too long, so I...
BBMP election.
Yeah, BBMP collection.
BBMP election, which hasn't happened since...
No, yeah, BBMP...
Hasn't happened since when?
Yeah.
2020.
Last
15 years.
last 2 years we have come in.
10
No,
years.
no, no.
Delayed by 5 years.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah.
So it's delayed by 4.5 years. The last 2 years we have come in. We were working on this act, and we want to get the election done through this act, because fundamentally it would change the whole. If we had done the election, if we had come in with one BBMP, we would not be able to touch this whole structure for next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? So we wanted to fundamentally change and make it a robust structure to deliver to the people. So that's why we had delayed it. Now the GBA is in act. One thing we have done very clearly, for your knowledge, that we have given time frame. Like the day the act comes into effect, within 120 days, the GBA needs to be constituted. The corporations needs to be, the boundaries needs to be fixed, right? So we have given time frames in the act. I don't think so any other act there is any time frame given. I don't know. There are many maybe, but in this,
timeline can't be violated.
yeah. So we have given timeline that within 1 day, because what would happen if GBA comes into effect? The government may take 1 more year to create the GBA boundary, to create. So we have given time frame. So that is the biggest push we have given, and very soon elections will be held according to the new act. According to the, they'll have different multiple corporations and empowered corporations. And new elections.
Great. Final word.
Yeah.
Area Sabha.
Area Sabha, yes, we had a threadbare discussion. Now the system in through 74th Amendment, you have 3-tier kind of a thing. You have a ward committee. Then you have elected councillor there. Then you have a council. You have standing committees in the corporations. Then you have a council. Then you have a mayor. So there are various stages. The issue is there has to be importance given to ward committees, right? If you create an area sabha, right, below that, within one ward, for 3 booths there was one area sabha. A councillor, if he starts going to every 3 booths and sit and discuss and get consensus, come to ward committee, get consensus, get it done, it doesn't happen like that.